Hey everyone, it's David here. I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm doing an off-topic video on finances today because a lot of you are emailing me about crypto, and a lot of people have stated that they don't trust the US economy at all and that they want to invest in something that they know is sure. So I love crypto and I love investing in it. I'm going to give you 3 tips that I think are going to help you financially, especially if you're older. But do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the subscription below, click the notification link below. I would love for you to be one of my lucky winners. All right, so let's go and talk about this and let's talk about finances here. So one of the biggest things I've heard people say is that they don't trust the US economy and it's going to fall. So I hope that's a whole bunch of crap. I mean, anything's possible. It could fall. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Keep in mind, I have no background in law, and this is just what I'm giving you my personal opinion on what I think you should do. Now, the reason why I chose this wave and this ocean is I surf, if you don't know, and I love surfing. And there's every once in a while where you're out there and you're getting these big overhead waves, and all of a sudden someone yells outlier or something, and you look, and you're before this wave, and it's going to break right on you. And with a longboarder, you can't duck and go underneath the waves and duck dive it. So you can't just go underneath and let the wave pass you. So if you stay where you're at, you're going to get pounded like a rag doll. If you charge the wave, you're going to go over the barrel and you're going to get pounded like a rag doll. And what do? You have to be able to make the best right decision there. If it's charging the wave and going for that edge as much as possible, hoping to God you make it over. If it's paddling as fast as you can toward the inland, trying to catch the whitewater and keep it from being pounded. But you've got to make a decision and you've got to make it fast. And that's what happens out there. If you're 50 and you have nothing in your retirement account, you're in the 11th hour. And if you're 60, you're also in the 11th hour. What's cool is I've seen 50 and 60-year-olds be able to do something, and they've been able to make something for their financial future. So you have people saying that the U.S. economy is going to fall and all of our money is going to be swept up. You've had the Great Depression. You've had 2 world wars. You've had the Korean War. And this is not in any particular order here. You've had Vietnam. You've had the Great Recession. Some of these I've seen in my life. Some of them I haven't. You've had bombings. You've had all sorts of different things in the United States that have affected the economy. But one of the things is that I'm going to say is that the stock market and the economy has historically always bounced back. Real estate has always bounced back. In the Great Recession, you saw what happened. You saw what happened in real estate, and that was actually the time to jump in and buy. But you're going to get pounded if you absolutely do nothing. So here are 3 tips I'm going to give you that's going to help you with your financial future. First tip, number 1, is find a good brokerage firm, stock firm. There's a lot of good ones out there, and start putting away $150 a month. Now, if you're telling me that you don't have $150 a month, if you and I sat down for 20 minutes, I would show you how you have $150 a month, probably $300 a month. But let's look at this. How many Starbucks do you do a week? Well, wait, I deserve Starbucks. Well, there's your $150 a month, probably right there. How many times do you go out to eat at lunch if you're working? How many times do you go out to special dinners, things like that, or you pay for events? I guarantee you $150 a month you have. And if you really write down everything you spend, so you're going out to lunch every day, and so you're spending $8-9. Could you actually pack your lunch every single day? There's your $150 right there. Literally, I just showed you $150. If you're going out to lunch every single day versus going to the store and buying some lunch, is probably going to be healthier than what you're going out and eating. And packing your lunch, yeah, you're going to spend a few bucks. You're not going to get it for free, but you're saving costs. And yeah, going out to lunch is fun. If you have to, brown bag it and go out and eat somewhere and enjoy the atmosphere of eating somewhere, but be bringing your own lunch. So let's just say that you are saving the $150 a month, and your interest is compounded annually. And this might be monthly. It all depends on your firm. And I was playing with some different scenarios, but let's say that you start off with $100. Be great if you start off with more than that, and your interest rate's going annually, and they have different plans. Keep in mind, I'm showing you just one particular plan here, and you go and you do this for 10 years at an annual rate of 10%. You're going to have $30,000 in your account in 10 years. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's nothing. And you're right, it's absolutely nothing, but it is something, and it's better than nothing. Let me put it that way. Now, I know with my broker company, they tend to hit an average of 15% some of their accounts. So you might get a little bit more there, but you might get closer to 40, but I'm going to stick with the 10%. And I'm going to just go ahead and calculate this out and say, okay, there's 10%. That would be $30,238.95. Now, let's say you could do this for 20 years. Okay, so you're putting away $150 for 20 years. Now you're at $108,411.63. That's starting an account with $100 and putting away $150 a month. Let's say you're married and you have a spouse, and you could double this, and I guarantee you can, and now you're doing $300 a month toward your retirement, that would put you in 20 years, that would put you at $216,150.52. If you did this for 10 years at this, you would be at $60,000. Again, it's never too late to start. What would be good is if you started and you learned how to save money and you could bring this up closer to the 300 range, but something is better than nothing. I always hate to see, and I've given example after example, like my aunt, who she had a diverse portfolio. She owned her house free and clear. She had a lot of stocks in WAMU. And what happened in WAMU is in the Great Recession, they went under and she lost a huge chunk of her portfolio, but her house was paid for. She was on Social Security and she also had other investments out there that helped her get through it. And then I look at someone like my grandmother. My grandfather worked, their house was paid for. They would spend $25 a week buying bonds. And I thought, wow. And then as I got older, they actually cash these out at $3,000-$4,000 a piece, and they'd go on these nice trips and enjoy life with them. And it's always good to diversify your portfolio. So there's other things that you could probably do too, but number one is I would start saving with a certain amount every single month. Now, I would even challenge you to take this one step further. If you could put this in your, have this taken directly out of your check and put it directly into the account, that would be the best thing. And why do I say that? Because you're not going to spend it. I mean, the IRS does that. They're very smart. They know that Americans don't budget, and most people that succeed with a plan like this, actually everyone that I know, they don't even see the money. So it's like they don't even have it. So you go to your brokerage account, and like I said, get with the good one. Get with the company that's been around for decades and decades, and they're going to be around for decades to come. They know a tough economy. They know a good economy. Get involved with somebody like them. Now, I'm not saying don't invest in crypto. Like I said, I'm going to have plenty of crypto investments. There's silver coming up, and I'll do a video on that as well, and I believe that's another good investment. But for right now, on your retirement, it's like you're before that wave, and you've got to make a decision, and I would pull the trigger now. There's a lot of good companies. Like I said, if you need one, I'll give you who I use. Feel free to email me. I really don't mind. Like I said, I get nothing out of that. So that would be the number one challenge. And again, if you're saying that you don't have $150 a month, you could find it. I mean, literally, write down all of your expenses, ask a few people to do that, and you want to go on and you want to keep on saving. I talked about when I put away $100 when I was 18, I put away the $100. Imagine if I had done that for 40 years, like just $100 a month. Let's do 150 for 40 years. And so if you're younger, and again, I do 10% because that's the overall average rate. Some are higher, some are lower. So I'm doing that. If you're younger and you do this and you just did 150 a month, you're living at home and you keep that going and you keep that going from job to job, you're looking at $837,000 in 40 years. And if you did more than that, like if you did something like, say you say, you know what, I'm going to take this serious, I'm going to do 300 a month. I mean, you're going to be able to dictate, you're now at 1.6 million. You're going to be able to dictate when you retire, how much money you get and how you enjoy your finances. But again, if you're late, you still want to finish and you still want to finish ahead of the game. Okay, the second recommendation I would have for you is to get out of debt. And a lot of people ask me, should I get out of debt before I save? Absolutely not. Put away that 150, that 200, whatever you're going to put away. And I showed you with the least case scenario. Get as high as you can and then start getting out of debt. And I've heard, well, I'm going to be paying a lot more in interest. And I could give a whole nother video on debt and paying in interest. And you could be paying off hundreds of thousands over a certain amount of years. And I get it. You still want to be able to have a savings when you hit retirement. You still want to be able to consistently be able to contribute to that, knowing that that's there. And that needs to be first. Pay yourself before you pay anyone else. What I would do is I would list out all your debts. If you're really that far in debt, I would list them all out. And then what I would do is I would go ahead and decide which one is the best to pay out first. So let me break that down. Let's say you have $10,000, then you have like a $3,500 one. What I would do is I would tackle that $3,500 one with doubling the payment toward it. So say the payment's $70 a month. I would put 140 toward that, or as high as you possibly can. Pay the minimum off on the other. Pay the minimum on the others because you're still paying those down a little bit, and then you're paying double, triple if you can on the last one, and you tackle it with all your might. You pay that one off. Then what you do is you take that and you pay off your next least one. And this might take you 3, 4, 5 years. And the reason why I say you want to save is because if you're 50 and you wait till 5 years to save, now you're that much further behind of this interest calculator that I just went over with you. So that's debt. Get yourself fully out of debt. Come up with a plan. Shred your credit cards if you have to. Trust me, I've been there. I've done it. I know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this here. The last thing I would say if you could do is, and this is one of the best things, if you could do this, is home ownership. if you could buy your house and be paying that off, you have a significant value, and you take the pride of ownership. And a lot of times, especially in places I see across the United States, paying off a house is cheaper than renting. Now, renting is probably easier to do short term, but I see it where rents are going for $2,500, but you can get a house for $75,000, $100,000 in parts of the United States. Now, the house that I'm in now, when we bought it, we sold our house. We were in Laguna, and we sold that house, and we had some good equity. Ironically, I did not qualify for the loan at first because I was self-employed under 2 years, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But I didn't qualify for the loan. And what really killed me on this is I was actually making more money self-employed than I was teaching. And I showed this to my financial advisor, and he said, they still want you to be, that is your means income for 2 years. So I went to the owners of my house. I'm going with the story here. And I said, hey, I'm really interested in purchasing this house. We really like it. Houses were selling like hotcakes. I will refinance you out in 6 months. I put 18 in the contract. If you will go ahead and carry at interest only, you're going to make a little bit more money. Actually, I didn't do interest only. I'm sorry. I did it as a 30-year loan. And I said, and then a balloon will be in 18 months. And I showed them all the documentation, and they went ahead and they were very cool with it. Now, I had looked at the house. They knew a little bit about my background. So when you go and you want to own or finance a house, and you need to do that, and that's just one way. I mean, try to qualify, see what you qualify for, see if anyone in your family could help you. I mean, there's a million different ways of going out there. See if you have any unclaimed funds, any surplus funds. So many people have them that they don't know they have. But approach someone, and don't just walk through the house and just say, hey, you know what, I like your house, will you own or finance? Don't call someone and say, hey, would you consider owner financing? Call and talk to them. Find out why they want to sell, how they want to sell. Go look at the house. Let them know that you like the house. Let them know if you have any concerns. But don't walk in and start tearing the house apart and tearing everything apart. And I say that because I see so many of these courses where people do this, and they go and they try to make the owner make it look like they're doing them a favor by taking the house off their hands with owner financing. And you don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to go through, look at the house, maybe look at a FSBO. Ironically, the house that I owner financed, it was on the MLS. And when my wife and I had looked at it, we showed our financials to the agent. She's like, oh yeah, you're going to more than qualify. And when we didn't qualify, I called her up and I just said, hey, we have to wait 6 months before we get approved. We really like the house. Other people had seen it. It was getting some interest. I'd say, we want to make an offer on it, a fair market value offer. We came in at the appraised value. And I said, we will come in with a hefty down payment, and here's what we'll do. And she took that to the owners, and she's just like, hey, I like these guys, do business with them. And that was great. Again, we went through we had finances, we had a lot in our favor, and you might not have that. But what you do is look in your area, see what you're able to do, and see what's out there on a for sale by owner. Get to know somebody. Look at a house that's been out there for a while, that's been on the market for a while. Walk through it. Let them know that you're going to check with your finance advisor, check with your mortgage broker, and then see if you do qualify. And if you don't, come back and just say, hey, you know what, I'm having a hard time qualifying. I noticed you've owned this house in a while. I'm a really serious buyer. Here's my history. Would you consider carrying at this amount? And again, you're probably not going to be able to do 6 months like I did. I mean, that was kind of an exception to the rule. And the homeowner did come back and he said, why did you put 18 months if you're saying you only need 6 months? And I said, well, I'll never forget 2010. I had a loan on a property that was kind of a risky loan, and I knew it. And I was going to refinance that out in 6 months. If the loan industry hadn't gone south, I would have been able to refinance it out. My whole financial future would have been different. Well, and it was a very humbling learning experience for what I went through financially on that. I'm not complaining about that or saying that was bad or anything. I'm just saying I protected myself with 18 months. 6 months after my wife and I moved here, give or take a month, we were able to refinance them out and put the loan under our name, and we were very happy here. So I mean, it worked out really good. It happens all the way now. Los Angeles, and Orange County, that's harder to do, but I've done it, and I've looked at houses, and I've gone through, and I've made deals with various owners. Again, you have to build a rapport. You just can't walk in and say, hey, owner finance, I'll take this. Owner finance, you know you've got crappy windows and a crappy kitchen. I really don't want this house, but I'll do you a favor. I mean, I'd tell you where to go if you said that to me. I'd say, and in fact, I've had people do that to me, and I've told them to get lost. And then they have the audacity to call me back and say, hey, have you reconsidered? And it's like, and I'm like, you know what? It's sold and it's done with. And like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. So I've seen that happen one too many times. I could actually write a book on that. But yeah, just go in and just say, you know what? I really like the house. I know it needs a few updates. I've looked at my finances, and I thought I'd be able to qualify, and it's going to be a little while before I do. Would you consider carrying, and make it like, let them know what's in it for them. Like I would come in and show them some finances, show them you can make the payment, come out with the written game plan, and just let them know that's huge right there. But home ownership, and the reason why I say that is because people that retire, the last stats I looked at, people that retired that didn't have a home, their average net worth was under $5,000, and people that had a house that retired, their average net worth was over $100,000. I mean, you get the tax benefits, you get so much more when you're actually owning a house and you have that pride of home ownership. So the three things that I would say you got to do financially is, number one is get out of debt. Everyone should be doing that. Well, before that, number one is, I would say, go ahead and invest something every single month. Okay, invest in something and be putting away a side amount every month. Even if you do it on a 401, there's so many different accounts that you can use if you're self-employed, if you're working for someone, but you have it just taken directly from your paycheck and you never see it. That would be the best thing you could do. Number two is get out of debt, and number three is getting some home ownership. And you might have a plan where your debts are so high that you can look at different credit cards, try to get one interest-free, ask for interest rate deductions, and find out what you're paying on interest. Go online, see what the going interest rate is, be up to date on your payments, and then call up and just say, hey, you know what? I noticed that I'm paying 10% over the going interest rate, or 5% over. It happens all the time. Can I get a reduction in interest? And if they say no, call back and ask to speak to a supervisor. Really be persistent in this. I mean, this is your finances, and say you save that money, the money you're saving, put that back towards your payment. Get these paid down and get fully out of debt. That would be my challenge to you. Hey everyone, again, thank you for watching the video. If you like this, do me a favor, click the like down below. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next video.